Hi everyone, hope you're doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Now, yesterday, the youth who were leading protest promised to go and occupy churches in this country and stop politicians from taking politics to the church. In fact, they were very clear that they're going to shut down any member of parliament who voted in support of this bill. They will not allow them to address any congregants in the church. The message was very clear, and indeed, they adhered to their word. Today, they have been in the church. So, the Nairobi chapel also used the opportunity on the pulpit to thank Gen Z for being courageous in calling out injustice and holding the leaders accountable. And this is their position. Indeed, they stand with the youth, and they are endorsing the current protest we are having in this country as a church.
Standing, we want to say something to this generation. As Nairobi Chapel, we are saying to this generation, but that this generation that is the church. Are we together?
Yes.
Kanisa siku ingine. This is the church. Are we together? We are proud of you for stepping out and for speaking out. Thank you for your fearless stand against injustice. Thank you for holding the leaders and the institutions in this country to account. Thank you for your zero tolerance to corruption. Thank you for making history and for ushering us into a new chapter as a country, for opening up a new chapter for Kenya. The first thing we want to say is thank you for your courage.
Yes.
The second thing we want to say is we are proud of you because the protests that happened this week were orderly.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for it.
Now, if the church leaders are endorsing the protest, it means they have a problem with the government. Therefore, this is a warning to the government that you are wrong, the youth are right. Therefore, listen to their cry, and as they protest, they are actually doing it on behalf of everyone, including the church. Now, beside this, it was all over. Another church, PCA, Kitengela, they again applauded Gen Z and asked Ruto to listen to what they are talking about. That please, it is time you listen to this youth. They have a message, and the message has been justified. Listen to the youth, and here is their message.
We also want to ask the government to listen to what these young men and women are saying. They are not just demonstrating for nothing. They are missing a lot of things that they need in life. And we should think once again about how we run our country.
Again, at Holy Family Basilic, Gen Z have been supported, and the church is actually with the youth. So it is time now, the church is making a decision to stand with the people or defend the corrupt government. So they have made a decision today. They're not going to stand with the oppressor. They rather defend the oppressed. And that's why they gave a chance to the youth and they speak about the issues that they are raising.
Reject the finance bill. 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 Reject the finance bill.
Let's give him a round of applause for expressing himself.
Again, at SCK, Archbishop Olesapit, the man who were at Bomas of Kenya, and you know what he did. He is now out, this time around, not defending William Ruto, but speaking about what Gen Z are talking about. So he's advising William Samoei Ruto to listen to what Gen Z are talking about. Rethink about the finance bill and heed to the cry of the people. And here is the message to William Ruto in reaction to Gen Z's protest.
The Gen Zs have no tribe, no religion, no class, but they are our children. They are not enemies of the nation. They are our children. We love you and we welcome you. We want to discern what you are saying, and we pray that the Lord will give us a moment of listening to one another and understanding. So to Your Excellency and the leadership of this country, this is a discerning moment. Not so much talking, but I think listening to one another and reaching out to one another. Let us embrace the spirit of listening more than talking. And I want to encourage that even in what is going on, those are children from our families. Let us not use any excessive force, but we also urge them not to be lawless and destroy or maim or kill. Let us be civil, each and every one of us.
Now, as we continue with the panel discussion, just a quick request. For those who are watching and you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. To our returning subscribers, I must say thank you so much. And again, to all our viewers, please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much, and back to this discussion. Now, definitely looking on how things are unfolding in this country, Gen Z are claiming their space in the church, in politics, and in our social life. They are claiming their space. And they have helped in a big way. Today there was no politicking in the church. It is about preaching. You preach the gospel, talk about the oppressed, warn the oppressor, reject politics in the church. Tell me, how would a politician stand in the same church and a politic? It would have not worked. Because these youth were all over with a message that reject finance bill. So there was no politicking on the altar. In fact, Gen Z have really reclaimed the pulpit for God's business. They are now reclaiming the space. It is not a space for politicking, no joking. So the pastors have also been watching carefully. And there is something they are now embracing. That definitely, going by the situation, it is no longer tenable to entertain politicians on the altar. The youth have been watching in silence, but they are coming out to speak their mind. So if a youth can really point out the mistake and the wrong, and you are at the church, how would you continue to do that which is wrong? So things are changing in this country. Politics are now taking a new shape. And the youth are no longer going to sleep again. They have reclaimed their space and they are now shaping their future politics. They have now become the opinion shapers. And the discussion here is not about tribalism. It is not about violence. It's all about rejecting the punitive policies by the Kenya Kwanza administration. So these youth are no longer going to keep silent and watch all the drama continues in this country. Wamesema hata kama ni kanisani, hatutaruhusu ile mchezo wanasiasa wametumia kila wakati kuja kudanganya our own parents in the church. So everyone knows what is going on in this country. Ruto used the church the other time to propel his politics. In fact, he packaged himself as the candidate of the church. It will no longer work for him. Today, he is now being rejected, and anyone who is associated with him is not a welcomed guest in the church. They will never use the pulpit again to push for their political agenda. The paradigm is shifting. No jokes on the altar. And I think if politicians will attempt this, maybe the congregants might walk out, or wale watasimama tu kwa kanisa na wamwambie wacha siasa kanisani. So those priests who have been embracing politicians are now seeing what is going on, so they have to make a decision between standing with this politician and entertaining them in the church, or correcting the mistake. Otherwise, youth are forcing something here that hatutakubali mambo, tutatumia any available chance to say no, and this will never continue in this country. Not business as usual. Mambo yanabadilika. So, no space for these people, and they are coming out to say that voting for the finance bill, we were voting for more teachers in school. They come with lies, and youth have discovered their lies. I've heard some kind of, information like this they're trying to use outside here. That we are voting for more money in hospital. We are voting for the medicine in hospital. We are voting for development in our area. I mean, Uhuru was working with 8%. But he did a lot of development, which even I'm sure William Ruto will not achieve. Even if you give him 10 years, he can't achieve what Uhuru achieved. So it's no longer, it's no longer convincing. So the youth have decided that we will not give a chance to these people to play on the pulpit. In fact, wanasaidia. So going forward, everywhere has been touched, and there's no space for politicians. They rather organize for their own political events, not use the church, because church and the funeral functions are the cheapest way for politicians to sell their agenda. Huja organize na pesa yoyote, watu wamekuja tu kanisani, wewe umewapata ni kuaddress. Kwa matanga hivyo hivyo. So wamefukuzwa kwa matanga, wamefukuzwa kanisani, wamefukuzwa kila mahali. No space for politics. Kama hiyo ndio njia mnatupeleka, vijana wamesema a big no.